Hey, good to see you. Happy Sunday. It's Tammy Lynn Hancock, the little engine that could, and you can be the little engine that could too. I thought I'd take you out today in my backyard and I'd show you some things about Florida and a lesson that God was showing me the other day that I thought I'd share with you. I'm going to turn the camera around. Hey, Oli, good to see you. You know, sometimes we have to really work on our mindset. And sometimes we allow negative things to enter our lives, and those negative things begin to define us. They begin to rob us of joy. And sometimes the things that occur and we see on the outside don't always reflect what is inside. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you a cabbage palm. A cabbage palm is, I guess it's one of those Florida weed palms that you see everywhere. If you go into the Florida woods, you're going to see these all over the place, and they're very hardy and they're very sturdy. So let me just turn the camera around, and I'm going to point you up to a cabbage palm. Let's see if I can bring it in. Oh, okay, there you go. There's your cabbage palm. Cabbage palm is known for having those wide leaves that just spread out like a finger. And this one now has got a lot of pollen, and it just is ready to have those extra things fall off. But the cabbage palm is a super resilient plant. And when we first bought our property, as with a lot of properties here in Florida, if there hasn't any landscaping done and stuff like that, you'll see lots of cabbage palms around. And so what we were really working on trying to get these cabbage palms gone. And I'm going somewhere with this story, so just hang in there with me. So I'm going to walk over to the front of my house. Out here we have a white picket fence. And I want to see if I can show you some little ones growing in here so that you can see how they kind of start. That's your cabbage palm. That's kind of how they're going to start. And they kind of grow up everywhere. They look kind of cute right there. Don't be deceived. You know, sometimes in our own lives, the things that we display on the outside doesn't always show the heart. Sometimes we'll find ourselves, we're smiling, we're talking about laughing things, but inside, we're struggling. We're struggling with defeat. We're struggling with fear. We're struggling with discouragement. And sometimes we never tell anybody. Well, you know, that's a good thing sometimes, and you have to learn to healthily, in a healthy way, work them through. But the problem is when we become the kind of person that's not able to work them through. I'm going to show you another picture of a cabbage palm. And I want to show you what happens when we don't work things through in a healthy way. And I want to show you how if we allow those discouragements in our life, if we allow bitterness and anger and defeat, and we keep listening to the terrible, hey Leslie, if we keep listening to those naysayers in our lives who tell us we're not going to succeed, we're never going to amount to anything, you fail at everything you do, you're never good at this, I wish you were more like so-and-so. If we keep listening to those people, they can just kind of come inside and they can kind of rot us from the inside out, right? And I want to give you a visual of what can happen to us. I'm going to turn my camera around. This here is my bird garden, and I try to attract all kind of flowers and birds, but here was a cabbage palm. I don't know if you can see it here, but it used to be right here. And sometimes you can come across the cabbage palms and they can look like that big tree I showed you before, and other times they can look like this. Now you might look at this, and I pulled one out the other day and it was full of sticks all over, and you would have thought it was somewhat of a healthy kind of plant. It was rooted there in the ground pretty hard. And when I talk about looks to be deceiving, and this is that kind of idea of looks being deceiving, because I want to show you, by showing you this cabbage plant, how bitterness and anger, how deep it can root inside of us, and why it can destroy us. This cabbage plant here was alive and green, like the one I showed you earlier, that little one. This one here is my example of what bitterness, anger, malice, jealousy, all that stuff can do to you. What I did to this in real life was we were trying to get rid of this cabbage plant. So I poured the Roundup. I poured like an acid in there to kill the plant at the roots. And it took a real long time to do that. But that's kind of how bitterness and anger works in us. It goes down and it seeps down into us and it begins to destroy us inside until we become rotten. And over time, these start to rot out. And I want to show you something. Look at the root that comes out of here. This was just a little stick. When I talked to you before about how what we see on the outside doesn't always define what's on the inside, this is how deep bitterness and anger and malice and jealousy can root down into our lives. It's deceiving on the outside the effects that it has. Oh, these are really rooted down in here. I got to really pull. But you see how deep these roots go? Here's another one. See how hard I'm having to pull this out? I hope that you can see that visual. You see, we all have the choice to let bitterness and anger go down into our life and rot us out. And just like those big, deep roots of the cabbage palm tree, it can dig deep. Hi, Julia and Karen. It can go real deep down into our soul, and it can destroy us and rot us out inside. Instead, I want you to think about a healthy cabbage plant that grows into a beautiful palm. And I'll show you a picture while I'm talking about it. Here's another healthy cabbage plant that's grown. But this one did not bury its roots in bitterness and anger. You see, mindset begins up here. You know, the Bible says, whatever things are good and right and true, think on these things. The Bible also says, get rid of bitterness, anger, malice, rage. And there's a reason for it, because it rots us from the inside out. So I hope as you're going through your struggles today, whatever they are, maybe you're having a good struggle. Maybe you're starting something new and you're getting discouraged. Maybe you're just struggling through, working through a process, but you're having some victories in it. Maybe you're going through a real hard time and you're trying and you're not seeing any results. I want to encourage you to don't let bitterness and anger build up in you. Make the mindset, change the mindset up here so that it doesn't rot you out from the inside out. Don't let those deep roots of bitterness and anger define who you are, because you can succeed. For me, I have my power hour every morning with God, and that's where Tammy Lynn gets her strength. But I would encourage you to meditate on those things that are good and right and true. Get rid of those nasty things that are kind of eating you up. Just throw it away. Those bad memories, throw it away and replace it with those things that are good and right and true. So I hope the lesson of the palm tree, the cabbage palm, gives you a little bit of insight, and I hope it causes your mind to kind of think about it. And if you've got some more questions about how we can help and have a healthy mindset, I can give you some access to some great tools that I know of that can really help train our mindset and get it in a healthy place, a place that we can grow as a person. So if that was helpful to you, give me some thumbs up, send some fist punches my way, give me some loves. Feel free to share this video, and feel free to follow me, because you never know when I'll pop on here and tell you something new. So I hope you learned a lesson from the cabbage palm, and it's Sunday. God bless you. Oh, thank you for those hearts. It makes me feel good. Have a great day. Bye.